Hello and welcome back. You know me. This episode's about these last 9 months. Stay tuned. So yeah, what a ride life is. That's the underlying concept of this entire podcast, is life itself, without any help or anything else. I launched my show on September 25th, 2022, my daughter's birthday. Those who enabled the depression relapse still don't see that reality or the reasons for their own realities independent of me or even including me, the full, authentic me. So long story short, after Heather died, I continued moving forward with my life and my family's life, which at that time was just my daughter and I. I got a new assignment at work for about 6 months. Back then, and upon turning this page there at work, it went wonderfully. But I was removed from that assignment after those 6 months, and the slot, unfortunately, was never reopened during my time with my department. However, I'm exceedingly proud of my time in the traffic unit, as with all of my time at the department, as I did give everything I could each day. And it worked out. During my short stint in traffic, I was very happy to develop a bit of a system with the other road patrol traffic officer at the time, which led us to enforcing school zone speed laws for a couple hours each morning, wait for the inevitable crashes that we typically would split, have lunch, have a silly trip to the restroom after lunch. He remembers that very well. And do a little more speed enforcement where residents had complained. Miracle Mile, I usually ended up that area, even ended up pulling over our former longtime cop, Chief Stephen Moody. That was funny, wasn't it, Steve? But no, I actually didn't ticket him. But folks, yes, I did allude to my integrity and laughed, saying, "You do realize how hard you're making this for me right now, don't you?" And he asked how my wife's death and funeral or life celebration, whatever, how that all went, how my daughter was doing, things like that. I ultimately sent him on his way with a warning that the citizens on Miracle Mile were concerned about speeders in the area. I went to traffic school, loved every second of that, as I learned more and more specialized knowledge in my pursuit of being the next generation's primary on-the-road traffic officer. To finish out my career, I met with Springfield City School Transportation Director to work on the bus reports for people breaking the laws around buses, which has incredibly just dominated our local situation here lately for very obvious reasons. Well, time marches on, and life finally bit me hard. Very hard. Things continued to get worse and worse through around December of 2022, after which time I was again alone at home with my daughter, but now the focus was recovering my mental health to the status where it belongs, and to be the father that my motherless daughter truly deserves and needs in today's real world. That all led to an absolute hell period. Waking up annoyed versus happy, ready to rant versus ready to go to work, pointing fingers rather than looking within, and so on. The reasons for all of that was I have spent my entire life being this, building this, earning this. It has never been particularly easy leveling up, nor will it ever be. But this is not a hostile or negative thing, it's a simple truth and reality of life being human. We see them on our way back up, in recovery, and wish them all the very best. That is true from the Zen Zone to the entire human world. It takes effort, energy, looking within, owning shortcomings, strengthening weaknesses, and letting go of what was to truly be happy in the present and savor what is. My own recovery began once the triggers were identified and removed from my day-to-day. I have pressed on by posting loads on the Facebook page of this show with the real wisdom and a little bit of personal nonsense, as I have posted on my personal page with loads of personal nonsense as the healing was ongoing, and an ever-growing amount of wisdom posts making a return to my page alongside my normal positivity, pro wrestling, nostalgia, fatherhood fun, just life itself. I do not keep grudges or allow ill will to live within me, and that is why these 9 months happened. I was actually simply fighting for my own life, so that my daughter could continue to have at least one parent who can handle her awesome and continuing, always, growth. The only two people who could do that are my dead wife and I. She's basically a friend to most women in our lives these days. These last 9 months were created because I did not believe enough in myself after the loss of my Morticia, and instead of doing my historical kick the door down and roll forward, I sat nicely on the porch to enable myself to come back in and live life. My mistake. Finally, I'm back in, living life. And I'm back to myself. I am no longer connected to my estranged employer or estranged wife, as those relationships have been unofficially terminated pending my official retirement, and then a dissolution or 1 year separate and apart, whatever that needs to be, above board and ethical. I never had these issues before personally, and I never will again after this period officially comes to a close within the next couple of months. We are all where we are at this current moment, largely because of choices we made all life long. The world lost Heather, Lil, and James Davenport. The world has gained decades of doses of vitamin J at my very best at all times. I wish everyone I've ever encountered in life good health, long lives, happiness, and a life exactly like what my Morticia and I did share and build together. I'm not your enemy. I'm not your friend. I'm just another voice here to speak for those who cannot, be that from death itself, abuse, crime, health, or any other reason. I am the flashlight held by the honorable night that is the World Wide Web itself. In memory of Heather Davenport, Aiden and Dalen, Chad McAlpin, Mr. Shea Beal, Stephen Brewington, several more, but then back to now, the three that really cemented the bedrock underneath this family's lifestyle and true integrity by closing the door on my 9 months of hell depression relapse. Our professional wrestling legend Terry Funk, wrestling legend in the making and captivating soul period Wyndham Bray Wyatt Rotunda. And more than anything, by far and super sadly, young Sir Aiden Clark, the young man who was killed in the recent bus crash in my beloved Western Clark County, Ohio community. Forward we march, the people, forever. Namaste, from the Zen Zone to the entire known universe and beyond.